This is On the Ice, presented by Independence Blue Cross. A weekly recap of your Philadelphia Flyers from blue line to blue line. Broadcasting live from Chickies and Pete's, tonight's show is brought to you by Hand & Stone Spa, Pat Dion Beverages, The Capitol Grill, Chickies and Pete's, Payroll Service Solutions, and Independence Blue Cross. Here are your hosts, former Flyer Brad Marsh and Paul Jolovitz.
And welcome everybody to Chickies and Pete's here in beautiful Bordentown, New Jersey, as we start the year of On the Ice, our weekly program about the Philadelphia Flyers, presented by Independence Blue Cross. Happy New Year to everybody out there. Happy, healthy, and safe New Year. Many, many more to all of you. We are without a guest tonight. It's Mr. Al Morgani, who was scheduled to be here, came down with the bug overnight. So our co-host and I will take the ball and run with it, or the puck and skate with it for the next hour. Happy New Year to you, Mr. Brad Marsh.
And Happy New Year to you as well.
Thank you very well. Thank you very much. I'll learn to speak English at some point during this show as well. Flyers just back from a 4-game road trip. They go 1-3, lost their last 3 games, got an overtime point in one of them. This is the kind of year John Tortorella talked about the dog days and got a forecheck at this time of year, and the games get gritty. And you played a long time in the NHL. We hear about the dog days in every sport. One of the true dog days of this sport, when you get game after game after game, the playoffs are still too far away to look forward to. The pain and the suffering of the season has started. Is this that?
Well, I don't know if pain and suffering is the
right
way to put it.
Well, the aches and pains. Not like war, obviously.
Yeah. The thing is this has always been a tough road trip. I mean, I remember in the 80s, we used to go on the same road trip, for heaven's sakes. And it's tough because it's right after Christmas, obviously. Back in the day when I played, the rules weren't what they are. And, we would practice on the 24th. They would move the practice up to 9 o'clock in the morning, so we had a little more time in the afternoon. But then Christmas would be the 25th. We'd leave on the 26th morning, commercial flight, and play that night on the 26th. And so it's a tough road trip. And the thing is a road trip is a road trip. But quite often you look at where they're going, and they were in Alberta, and I know Calgary and Edmonton quite haven't played up to what their what the summer expectations were, but that's a tough 2-game stretch there to play in Calgary, and then you go to Edmonton, then go to Calgary. And so you're right, the Torch is right, the games do get tougher. They're both underachieving teams, the Oilers and the Flames.
The Oilers are 1-6 in a row though now. They had a coaching change. They're pretty hot right now. The best player in the world played like it last night too. Exactly.
So it was tough. So you just can't say a road trip. You kind of got to look at the circumstances around the road trip. We had some tough games, and that Christmas road trip is always hard.
4 in a row now at home. Come back to play the last place Metro Columbus Blue Jackets. We're going to kind of examine everything during this show, Brad. The players, the playoff situation, who may be coming, who may be going. First, though, I want to touch on something that's probably a sore spot for you, unfortunately. I don't mean it that way. But something that goes on this time of year, every year. Chris and I were just speaking of it. I think it's the greatest hockey tournament in the world outside of the Stanley Cup, which is the World Juniors. Canada kind of got upset yesterday in the quarterfinals, eh?
Yeah, that was a tough one. 11 seconds left in the third period, and that was tough. But you know what? The world's getting better, and there's no guarantee. And you got to know it, that when a team laces up and they're playing Canada, they're always bringing their best. And that's not to say that Canada didn't have their best, but the Czechs were playing good. They're a good hockey nation, have been for a long time, and they brought it to us. And then they got a bounce here and a bounce there, but hey, that's the way it goes. But how about Sweden? I mean, I think that would have been a bigger shocker if Switzerland would have beat them, but Sweden scored the power play goal in overtime, and I always like cheering for the underdog, if you will. So
sure.
Nothing against Sweden and all my Swedish teammates that I had over the years, but it would have been nice for Switzerland to win. But I'll tell you what. that's a big blow to Canadian hockey, specifically the TV ratings, because they get Super Bowl ratings for the World Juniors up in Canada, and everybody in the country's watching.
And they'd won 2 of the last 3, right?
That's correct. Yeah, and it's in Ottawa next year too, back on Canadian soil. So that was a tough one, but we're talking hockey and other hockey news other than the NHL. I don't know if you had it on your notes to talk about, but the women's hockey, the professional league, the newly formed professional league started.
I did not, but I'm glad you brought it up. Sure.
Started on the weekend. They had the opening game in Toronto, the old Maple Leaf Gardens, and that game was sold out. And
really?
Then they played in Ottawa last night, and that game was sold out as well.
Is Haley Wickenheiser too old to play in that? That's the one name that comes to me for women's hockey. Just boom, Haley Wickenheiser, Canada.
No, Haley's a little long in the tooth.
Too old?
She's working with Toronto, the Maple Leafs right now, I believe. And
she is?
Yeah, I believe so.
Oh.
And so anyhow, the league started, and then Boston and Minnesota play tonight, and that's exciting. Hopefully, this go around of the women's professional hockey works, because my daughter went to the game in Ottawa last night and said it was an unbelievably good, exciting, fast-paced, tough hockey game, and they lost in overtime. The home team lost in overtime, but anyhow, it's exciting when when we had the Spengler Cup, which is one of the oldest world tournaments. It goes on every Christmas over in I believe in Switzerland. Then we have the World Juniors and now the women's hockey. So it's great to see so many people around the world watching hockey.
Well, the sport's exploding, obviously, and with kids, with women. Women's sports are. I mean, if you turn on ESPN any night, you're going to see a women's pro game in the summer, WNBA, basketball. I'm talking about obviously in college in the winter, and there's women's hockey on some of the auxiliary sports channels, and no football yet, although the powder puff around the Super Bowl. But hockey's growing, and that's what anybody wants, because people who play hockey turn into people who watch hockey, and their relatives watch hockey, and that's how you build up a fan base and a viewer base, huh?
That's right, and I tell you, like I said, the women's hockey, that was a good game, but it's I did coach in it for years and years. It's exciting, really good hockey.
I kind of find it neat. I mean, no matter how far equality goes in this world, you talk to a women's basketball player, and they say, what kind of defense you playing tonight? We're playing man-to-man. No matter how much, it just doesn't translate. Never woman to woman. Did you used to, when you coached, did you ever talk about the terminology, the exact terminology on offense or defense? Was that ever a part of your spiel at all?
No, I coached I coached my youngest daughter, or both my daughters for that matter. But I coached, when they're 5, 6, 7, 8 years old, starting out. But then, I coached as they grew older, and I actually coached in one of the versions of the women's professional hockey league. Ottawa had a team way back then, and I coached them. And you just say, and nobody takes offense to it. You just say whatever terminology you're used to. Everybody understands it. Sports is universal. The puck gets dumped into the corner. You got to go get it. I don't know if that's first man on the puck, first lady on the puck. It doesn't matter.
Just get it.
They know what to do.
All right, that's cool. And meanwhile, the Flyers in 7th place in the Eastern Conference, 4th in the Metro. I guess it changes every night.
Yes,
These
it
teams
does.
1 or 2 points away from each other. With a lot of kids that are building a nucleus for this hockey team. I thought he's going to be our player of the week a little bit later. Yegor Zamula, John Tortorella's put in the power play. He's got a laser of a shot. Had a hell of a week. Team didn't have a hell of a week, but he did. There seem to be guys, Brad, you were obviously a defenseman, so concerned more with that part of the ice. Guys are kind of coming into their roles. Guys who were lost at the beginning of the year seem to be starting to find themselves now. And I attribute that, if you agree with me about that part, I attribute that to coaching, to taking the talent, putting it where it belongs, and letting it get comfortable there. I just said a whole lot, but does it make any sense?
Yeah, for sure. And ice time is ice time, but sometimes you have to look at the quality of ice time or the ice time that they're given, and that's where Torts and his coaching staff, I think, have done an extremely good job. You talked about Zamula, he's going to get better just simply by playing, but you just can't put them out. Oh, the other team's best line's out in the ice. You have to be very selective and be aware of your bench and who's up and who's going out. And so the coaching staff, led by an old teammate of mine, Brad Shaw.
Rocky Thompson coached the power play.
Oh no, I'm just talking the coaching staff in general.
Yeah.
And
they've
all done a good job, but Brad and I played with the Ottawa Senators way back in 92, 93. And, since Brad retired, he's been a lifelong coach. He's been with Tortorella a long time. But our coaches are putting the players in the right position to learn and to grow, and I think that's why we're getting better and better.
Kind of a question off the beaten path before we go back to the beaten path. When you talked about that, somehow the hockey fights night came into my mind, that we had such a great time. Everybody who went for a wonderful cause down in South Philly. You brought in some players from out of town, some players from in town who may have also come in from out of town, former Flyers. You going to do that again this year?
Yep, March 8th. It's scheduled for March 8th, same place, 2300 Arena. And it's going to be a wonderful night. And everything's all set, but it's kind of taking a back step because we have our big Hall of Fame weekend coming up in a couple of weeks, which is going to be a wonderful event, and we can talk about that a little later on. But Friday night fights. It'll be our third edition of Friday night fights, celebrating old time hockey, and people just love it because it takes them back to a little bit of history of hockey that is not seen anymore.
And if you're wondering what it is, I was last year when I went down there. I'm like, what am I going to see? Am I going to see films of hockey fights? I can watch that on my TV at home. I don't need anybody else to do that. But you guys did it in such a great way. It's a dinner, and people are very accessible. Everybody's accessible. And guys who fought each other go up and take the mic and talk to the crowd, and a little bit of salty language, a lot of fun about what they did and who they fought. And it just incorporates in it. It's just a really, really fun night, at least from my part. And I think everybody had a great time. It was an amazing thing that you put on again. You're doing I don't want to be a kiss you-know-what, but you're really doing an amazing job as head of this alumni in getting things together and people together for good causes, charitable causes, and number one, everybody's just having a great time.
Yeah, well, that's the main thing. And there's lots of people that do lots of charity events, and our number one goal when we do an event is to focus on the alumni and bring the alumni back and let the alumni have fun, let them be comfortable. And when they're comfortable and having fun, then guess what? Your guests are going to have fun. Yep. And in the process, you put on a good show and a good event. In the process, you'll make a few dollars for charity. And, that's the signature, the hallmark of really any alumni event. It doesn't matter what professional sports. Our Flyers alumni happen to do it a little better than the other ones. But the alumni guys are second to none. They love meeting fans. They love telling stories. And so give them a mic and a cold beer, and away we go. But the Friday night fights is great because the guys are so open about what they were going through or what they were thinking when they were beating the crap out of each other.
It is amazing.
Yeah, it's a good night. And Stu Grimson and Matthew Barnaby, who were both there last year for the first time, they're both coming back. They had such a great time. And
well, let me just interrupt you for 1 second. Talk about the Grim Reaper for a second. Stu Grimson was he's a fearsome looking guy. If you walked up to Stu Grimson in a dark alley, you'd probably turn around and walk the other way. Big guy, 6'6", 200 and whatever pounds. As fearsome a fighter as by looks as you've ever seen in the NHL, and one of the top fighters by performance also. But I talked to him afterwards, and he was on stage, and he's a lawyer now, a very distinguished lawyer in Canada, doing a lot of complex stuff where you're thinking, boy, his brains didn't get beat in. They're doing just fine. And just one hell of a nice guy. It never fails to amaze me, Brad, how guys you played with, other teams, doesn't matter. The goons are usually, if that's a fair word to use, the nicest guys because they spend their life angry, fighting each other, and when they're off the ice, they want to be normal people. Is that a fair statement?
Well, you're right. They're all like Dave Brown, one of the meanest guys going, and the nicest guy in the world off the ice. And Brownie and Stu, they had a couple famous bouts where Brownie actually broke his orbital bone with a punch, and all that stuff. So But you're right. They're very astute. They're very on top of on top of their lives, if you will, especially when they've retired. And so it's always great to see, and people are always shocked when they meet these nice guys.
Sure.
Yeah.
All right, Brad, we're going to kind of go in the wrong order because the Alumni Weekend is coming up, and it's ginormous the end of January. This is March 8th. But for people who want to look at opportunities into getting tickets and checking it out online, where can they go?
Well, first of all, the Hall of Fame weekend, I'll start on the Saturday, January 27th.
We're gonna take care of that after the break. The whole 9 yards.
Okay.
We're going with just the fights night.
The fights night?
Yep.
March 8th. Once again, March 8th. Well, those tickets will be available on the 2300 Arena. It's located on Swanson Avenue in South Philly on their website. But the alumni, we pretty much sell all the tickets for them, so they can reach out to me in Flyerland there, and I'll hook them up.
All right, and Flyerland home tomorrow night against Columbus Blue Jackets. Alumni Weekend is going to be absolutely unbelievable. 50th anniversary, not exactly, but who cares really, of the year the Flyers won the Stanley Cup, 1974. All kinds of people are going to be back. All kinds of people are going to play. All kinds of Bruins are going to play who you might want to meet. Brad will go over the activities, the weekend, what fans can do, how you can get to it, what charities, and the whole 9 yards. We'll look at the Flyers, take a look at the Metro Division. It is all hockey. It is the Independence Blue Cross on the ice. From Chickies and Pete's here in Bordentown, New Jersey, we have no guest tonight. Al Morgani hurt tonight. He's game day today. He's out today. He'll be here another day. I promise you that. Great guy, Al Morgani. Brad Marsh and I are back right after this. Stay with us.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Happy New Year! It's Pete from Chickies and Pete's. Make it Chickie and Pete's this New Year's. Come celebrate with us, or let us cater your New Year's Eve party with Chickie and Pete's Catering to Go. We have a wide variety of options. ChickieandPete's.com for details. Happy New Year from Chickies and Pete's.
Millions of Americans are losing their medical assistance or Medicaid coverage. If this affects you, Independence Blue Cross can help. You may be eligible to enroll in a health plan for as little as $0 a month. With Independence Blue Cross, you get the largest provider network in the area, including most Keystone First doctors and hospitals. We also offer free 24/7 telemedicine, coverage for hospital stays and prescriptions. See if you qualify for $0 health insurance and enroll today. Call Independence Blue Cross at 1-844-464-2583 or visit ibx.com/staycovered.
Payroll Service Solutions was established in 2001 to cater to the payroll needs of small to medium-sized businesses. Payroll Service Solutions offers unparalleled customer service while they deliver a complete and accurate payroll. When calling Payroll Service Solutions, you will never be put into a voicemail or go through a series of prompts to get to a person. All customer service representatives are extensively trained to handle all of your payroll needs, therefore saving you time. They value each and every one of their clients. No account is too small. Call Payroll Service Solutions today at 1-866-PAY-EASY for a no-obligation review of your payroll needs. That number again is 1-866-PAYEASY. Payroll Service Solutions.
A truly unique dining experience awaits you at Fogo de Chão. Fogo de Chão awes patrons with their history and tradition of authentic Brazilian steakhouse, offering many cuts of decadent fire-roasted meats prepared over an open fire and served tableside by trained gaucho chefs. Fogo de Chão, 1337 Chestnut Street in Center City, Philadelphia. For reservations, go to www.fogo.com or call 215-636-9700.
Head out to Dion Square, located at South Oxford Valley and South Olds Boulevard, to get all your essentials in one place, with the following businesses ready to serve you: Pat Dion Beverages, CVS Pharmacy, Hair Cuttery, Smile Culture Dental, Biomat, Liberty Auto Tags, Pennsylvania Fine Wine and Spirits, Lee's Hoagie House, R&J Smoothies and Juices, AutoZone, and First National Bank and Trust of Newtown. Make Dion Square your one stop for all your shopping needs at South Oxford Valley Road and South Olds Boulevard in Fairless Hills.
If you're looking for a stylish and sophisticated fine dining experience, visit your Eddie V's Prime Seafood restaurant near King of Prussia. Eddie V's Seafood features an abundant selection of fine wines and curated cocktails to complement exquisite steaks and seafood made from the highest quality ingredients. In the V Lounge, sip on imaginative handcrafted cocktails with attitude while enjoying signature appetizers. Conveniently located between I-276 and I-76 near the King of Prussia Mall. Call them today, 610-337-7823 to schedule your night out for Eddie V's Prime Seafood.
Joseph Anthony Retreat Spa and Salon is the true retreat from the everyday, with locations in Glen Mills, Springfield, and Center City. Joseph Anthony is a premier salon and spa destination that offers unique and luxurious services such as the soft pack float and hydrofacial. The Center City location, located on the 5th floor of the beautiful Lowe's Hotel, is now open and features an exclusive summer menu where you can indulge in the Joseph Anthony experience in the exquisite Turkish bath. Joseph Anthony's little black card is the perfect gift for all your loved ones' relaxation needs. Call or go online to josephanthony.com. That's josephanthony.com.
We now return to Chickies and Pete's for On the Ice, presented by Independence Blue Cross. Once again, here are your hosts, Paul Jolovitz and former Flyer Brad Marsh.
Former Flyer Brad Marsh, who has taken on a noble role in the last day or two. I'll tell you about that in a second. This is Independence Blue Cross is On the Ice from Chickies and Pete's in Bordentown, New Jersey. Beautiful old Chickies and Pete's. Lots of great Christmas lights here, neighborhood bar environment. I love this Chickies and Pete's, Brad. It really is terrific. It is time to talk about the Independence Blue Cross Live Fearless Player of the Week. This week, it's defenseman Yegor Zamula. Scored 2 goals, including one on the power play. Was a +5 for the week on the 4-game roadie. Remember to choose Independence Blue Cross today and begin to live fearless. Brad Marsh did something pretty noble yesterday night. A guy named David Tepper owns a football team called the Carolina Panthers. He's worth $20.6 billion as of yesterday. It varies day to day. And the NFL fined him $300,000 for throwing a drink through his why he's got an open box window on the road, I have no idea, but he does. Getting heckled through a drink on him. And Mr. Marsh saw that the financial distress that Mr. Tepper was in and offered to kind of help him raise the money for that fine. That's a very noble thing.
Yeah, well, I chuckle at the fines that they give even the modern day players and the owner in this case. Like it's a drop in the bucket, and
not even.
And really, what are they going to learn out of it? They probably won't even cut the check or whatever. They'll just send a memo to their accountant, and their accountant will send the NFL a check, and so. There's got to be some other way of disciplining these
suspending people. Say you can't come to the game.
Well, that might be a blessing in this case.
Of course,
because their team's so bad.
Yeah, they've been through 3 coaches and everything. As a player, I mean, people get suspended in the NHL all the time, get penalties, do things off the ice, on the ice. I mean, I have no idea because I never played and obviously never will. But as a player, Brad, is it once you have, and you didn't play in the era that they are now, where Connor McDavid and a lot of top guys making $10-12 million a year. You're not going to punish a guy by money, finding him a parking ticket, relative worth. Playing time is the only thing other than being thrown out of the sport, obviously. But playing time is what hits players in the head, right?
That's right. You take ice time or playing time, field time or court time. What do they call it in baseball? I guess field time or diamond time, whatever. Yeah. And you take away the ice time in this case, and that's where it hurts players. And because we all want to play, the name of the game is to play, and a fine does not teach them anything, in my opinion. And so
1/100th of 1% of his income, of his net worth.
Well, whatever. That's pretty good math on your behalf.
I had it done for me by ESPN.
But anyhow, I think suspension is the way to go and take away the playing time.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. But they're fraternity, they're family, and they handle their own. But that's football. This is hockey. And this month, January 25th, Friday night, the Flyers. Is it 26th or 25th Friday night? I think it's the 26th.
26th is the Friday.
26th, the Friday night, and they play the Bruins in the afternoon the next day. Flyers celebrate the first of the 2 Stanley Cups, 1974, 50 years ago. Brad's the head of the Flyers alumni, as I'm sure you're aware. It's going to be an unbelievable weekend. I'm sure you could talk about it for an hour if you wanted to, but just give us a little teaser of who's coming, what the events are, how to get involved. Go.
Well, it's a great weekend, the Hall of Fame weekend. You know, there was
and Mark Recchi, that's right.
Yeah, there was a period of time where they were doing a number of player inductions into the Flyers Hall of Fame, and then there was none, and then COVID hit, and then we brought back the tradition of the Flyers Hall of Fame when Rick Talkin and Paul Holmgren went in 2 seasons ago, and that was a great night as well. And so this time around, the schedule worked out good. The Boston Bruins are in on the 27th. We requested for the Wells Fargo to be empty, as in no Sixers game on the 26th, so it all worked out great. So on the Saturday, we're inducting Mark Recchi into the Hall of Fame, which is obviously well-deserved. He's in the NHL Hall of Fame already. And great guy, and what a natural goal scorer he was. And
if you ask people who the Flyers' all-time points leader in the season is, I'm talking about 100 hockey fans. Probably not more than 10 of them are going to get that it's Mark Recchi, right?
100%. And he was just a natural goal scorer and quite a competitor. So anyhow, it's going to be a great day on Saturday, but on the Friday night, we have a great alumni game, the Flyers alumni versus the Bruins alumni. Ray Bork is playing for the Bruins alumni.
Bobby Orr's not, I take it?
No, we asked Bobby to come up, but the thing is the invitation was open to all the older Bruin alumni to come to attend and just watch the game along with the Flyers Stanley Cup guys, but they lost. And so they didn't want to relive the moment.
50 years, you can't get together with friends?
No, you don't get over it. When you lose, you lose. And then they never got over it.
They won a cup. I mean, most of those guys.
Yeah, they did. But anyhow, it's going to be a great game.
No Espo?
No Espo, no.
Busick?
No.
Is he alive still?
I don't know.
Oh, all right.
But he's not coming. So anyhow, Bruins have a nice team coming. We have a very nice team. Obviously, the big name is Mike Richards is coming back to play for the first time. But the real big news to me about the whole weekend is it's the 50th anniversary of that first Stanley Cup win, and obviously the 49th anniversary of their Stanley Cup win versus the Buffalo Sabres the very next year. And so we decided to bring back all the guys and from the teams. And
as I understand, all the living bullies who are available to come are coming. Is that true?
Eddie Van Imp can't make it. He lives out on Vancouver Island, and it would take him like 2 days to get here, and he wasn't up to the trip. Ted Harris, who lives in northern Minnesota, he was on the second Cup team. He's not coming. But other than that, all the players that played on the Cup teams are coming in, and they're all going to get in on Thursday. We have an alumni-only little get-together, if you will, on the Thursday night to reminisce and tell some stories and really reconnect. And that's the beauty about any alumni event that we do, is just to see the players reconnect, and they haven't seen each other in 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 years in some cases, and then once again, when the alumni does stuff or the Flyers do things, we do it right. Their wives are also invited back, because the wives are a big part of professional sports.
Yep.
A big part of an athlete's day-to-day routine, and so we always talk about the guys getting back together.
I know your wife Patty kept the home fires burning while you were on the road with 4 kids.
Yeah, exactly. And so I talked to Juanita Lonsberry on my drive here to the show. Unfortunately, Ross has passed away, as all the Flyer fans know, but she was a big part of everything, and she was one of the driving forces to start the first carnival.
Wow.
Way back when. And so Juanita lives in Pittsburgh, so she's coming in for the weekend. And I don't even know if she'll watch one lick of the alumni game, but the most important thing is she'll be in the stands in the Flyer family talking to the players that she spent so much time with and their wives. And so it's just, and as I keep saying, it's going to be a great weekend.
One of the things I'm not aware of, so I'll ask you because I'm sure you are aware of it, is there a carnival this year with all this stuff going on?
Yep. And I should know the date, but I don't. But they can go to Flyers Charities and their website, flyerscharities.com, and while they can buy tickets to the alumni game, we have a great VIP reception prior to the game where they can see all the players, et cetera, but they can get tickets to the game. But then all the information for the carnival will be on the website. And
charities and everything like that. Now, I know that Eric Lindros, John LeClaire, who works with the team now, are both going to be there. Is Michael Renberg going to finalize the Legion of Doom or not?
No. We have the big line before the Legion of Doom was the Crazy Eights line.
Yep.
And so Brent Fedek is coming back. And so, like I keep repeating myself, it's going to be a great weekend. What I find neat about it is, one, I get to see and hang out with all the alumni guys, but the fans that come, they just create such an atmosphere within the Wells Fargo Center. And you'll come with your son and your son's son, and so there could be 3 generations of Flyer fans sitting there watching an alumni event, or alumni game in this case, and Grandpa's cheering for the old guys. He's going to be just enamored. We got an unbelievable video presentation. All the Stanley Cup guys are going to be introduced before the alumni game. The Stanley Cup is back in town. We're going to represent the Stanley Cup to the guys, and so they're just going to have a great time watching that. Then his son, maybe it was my era that he was really wrapped up in. He's going to be looking at me and Darryl Stanley and Dave Brown, a couple skilled players there, I'll tell you that. And
more than me.
Yeah, and then the son, he's going to be all over the LeClaire and Lindros, and so it's just a wonderful atmosphere that the Flyers fans, they watch, and it takes them back to their seat where they sat in the Spectrum, or the seat where they sat at the Wells Fargo Center.
Well, I was at the alumni game, the outdoor game in 2010 against the Rangers, and to me, the alumni game was far and away the hit of the weekend, because all these Flyer fans who, Bernie Perrant, I know he played, I know he won 2 cups, I know all the bullies played, I know Brad Marsh played, I know Eric Lindros played, but I never saw these people. I want to see these people living in the flesh on the ice. I mean, the regular season game is a great game, but it's a regular season game in the middle of 82. This is a game you'll remember maybe your entire lifetime. So hopefully the fans will have a great time. Our producer, Chris Surmer, who's a valuable part of our team, increased his value by getting the information that the carnival this year is on March 17th. Not quite able to get the phone to work to let us know that, but I remember the date, March 17th at the Wells Fargo Center. So January 26th, the alumni game. March 8th, the Friday night fights. March 17th, the alumni game. Check it all out at Flyers.com. We'll talk much more Flyers hockey when we come back here at Bordentown. Chickies and Pete's, the Independence Blue Cross on the ice. We are back right after this. Brad Marsh, stay with us.
Hi, it's Pete from Chickie and Pete's, and we are prouder than ever to partner with the Philadelphia Eagles. Chickie and Pete's has been named the official sports bar of the Philadelphia Eagles, and we continue to serve as the official caterer of both Eagles training camp and the official caterer of the First Trust Bank Club at Lincoln Financial Field. Go where the players go. The official sports bar of the Philadelphia Eagles, Chickies and Pete's.
At Independence Blue Cross, we believe in giving you the tools you need to pursue your healthiest life. From premiums as low as $0 per month to health discounts and cash rewards, it pays to have coverage with Independence. With the strongest network of doctors and hospitals in the region and free 24/7 virtual doctor visits, you can feel confident that quality care is always within reach. Learn more about your coverage options at ibx.com.
Payroll Service Solutions was established in 2001 to cater to the payroll needs of small to medium-sized businesses. Payroll Service Solutions offers unparalleled customer service while they deliver a complete and accurate payroll. When calling Payroll Service Solutions, you will never be put into a voicemail or go through a series of prompts to get to a person. All customer service representatives are extensively trained to handle all of your payroll needs, therefore saving you time. They value each and every one of their clients. No account is too small. Call Payroll Service Solutions today at 1-866-PAY-EASY for a no-obligation review of your payroll needs. That number again is 1-866-PAYEASY. Payroll Service Solutions.
A truly unique dining experience awaits you at Fogo de Chão. Fogo de Chão awes patrons with their history and tradition of authentic Brazilian steakhouse, offering many cuts of decadent fire-roasted meats prepared over an open fire and served tableside by trained gaucho chefs. Fogo de Chão, 1337 Chestnut Street in Center City, Philadelphia. For reservations, go to www.fogo.com or call 215-636-9700.
Head out to Dion Square, located at South Oxford Valley and South Olds Boulevard, to get all your essentials in one place, with the following businesses ready to serve you: Pat Dion Beverages, CVS Pharmacy, Hair Cuttery, Smile Culture Dental, Biomat, Liberty Auto Tags, Pennsylvania Fine Wine and Spirits, Lee's Hoagie House, R&J Smoothies and Juices, AutoZone, and First National Bank and Trust of Newtown. Make Dion Square your one stop for all your shopping needs at South Oxford Valley Road and South Olds Boulevard in Fairless Hills.
If you're looking for a stylish and sophisticated fine dining experience, visit your Eddie V's Prime Seafood restaurant near King of Prussia. Eddie V's Seafood features an abundant selection of fine wines and curated cocktails to complement exquisite steaks and seafood made from the highest quality ingredients. In the V Lounge, sip on imaginative handcrafted cocktails with attitude while enjoying signature appetizers. Conveniently located between I-276 and I-76 near the King of Prussia Mall. Call them today, 610-337-7823 to schedule your night out for Eddie V's Prime Seafood.
Joseph Anthony Retreat Spa and Salon is the true retreat from the everyday, with locations in Glen Mills, Springfield, and Center City. Joseph Anthony is a premier salon and spa destination that offers unique and luxurious services such as the soft pack float and hydrofacial. The Center City location, located on the 5th floor of the beautiful Lowe's Hotel, is now open and features an exclusive summer menu where you can indulge in the Joseph Anthony experience in the exquisite Turkish bath. Joseph Anthony's little black card is the perfect gift for all your loved ones' relaxation needs. Call or go online to josephanthony.com. That's josephanthony.com.
We now return to Chickies and Pete's for On the Ice, presented by Independence Blue Cross. Once again, here are your hosts, Paul Jolovitz and former Flyer Brad Marsh.
And we're happy to be here, and you're listening On the Ice, presented by Independence Blue Cross, live from Chickies and Pete's right here on 1490 WBCB. And it's time for the Smart Stat of the Week, brought to you by Payroll Service Solutions. Call them today at 1-866-PAY-EASY. That is 1-866-PAY-EASY in this surprising Flyer season. There are certain things that always seem to work. Putting the biscuit in the basket is one of them. This season, the Flyers have gone 15-2-3 in games in which they have scored at least 3 goals. If they have their offensive skates on, they do well. So do most teams. But 15-2-3, get 3 goals at least. Tortorella's goal every game, he said. That was your Flyers Smart Stat of the Week. Once again, brought to you by Payroll Service Solutions. Call them today at 1-866-PAY-EASY for the smart choice in payroll services. Payroll Service Solutions, carrying the small and medium-sized business to handle all of your payroll needs. Call them again at 1-866-PAY-EASY, Payroll Service Solutions. Brad, I don't know if I watched hockey 30 years ago. I watched the Gretzky Oilers. Their power play was insane, obviously, and greatest players in the history of the sport, some of them. This power play for the Oilers, there's different rules in hockey, but sheesh. They played them last night. It's one of the greatest power plays I've ever seen in my life. You feel the same way about that? The way they pass, get the puck on the tape, and they got guys who can flat out score, and not just McDavid.
Well, I think you you look at their power play, and the big thing that jumps out at me is they know where each other is going to be on the ice, and they're passing. I don't want to say blindly, but their instincts are telling them that I'm looking here, but I know it's open over there, or I know Draisaitl is going to be over there, and it really is something to see. And as a guy that killed penalties, I was never on any power plays, but as a guy that killed penalties, I always found it a big challenge to step up to the plate, if you will, and try to figure out the power play and how you can best stop it. But the puck movement that we see today was not there, in the 80s, and so it was a little bit, it's hard to explain it now.
It's a little bit analogous to special teams in football. You have an offensive defense coordinator and a special teams coordinator. Hockey, you have a power play coordinator. Obviously, the Flyers aren't humming on the power play yet, getting a little bit better with guys like Zamula. Penalty kill's pretty good, been rocky a little bit recently, but teams are going to go through that. You just said something that's interesting to me. It seems like it is a chess match. Yeah, I know who's out there. I know McDavid. I know Draisaitl. I know Nugent-Hopkins. I know Nurse. Obviously, got 2 power play units. But how is that chess match? And how some teams pass the puck, some teams go through the box, some teams fire and charge the net. What was that like, and how much more difficult is it today when you really can't touch anybody? In your day, you could. Of course, they could touch you too, right?
Yeah, the thing you were explaining, all those things that the power plays can do. The real good power plays seem to be able to do all of those things.
Yeah.
It's just, a lot of power plays, you could guard against them because they're going to do this one thing. You look at it in the videotape, and they're down low, they're a cycle, they get it up front, et cetera, et cetera. But the good power plays, they can score at will, and they can beat you whatever you throw at them, they'll come up with something else. And when you play a team like Edmonton, and back in the day when we had the Gretzky's, okay, how do you guard against that power play because they had so many weapons out there? And you just kind of tighten the box down, and you try and force them the best you can. But saying that, as soon as you force Gretzky, it doesn't go very well.
Talking about passing with eyes in the back of your head.
Yeah.
But it takes another layer onto it, because if you're trying to force the power play, first of all, you're trying not to get on the power play or take a penalty. So you can't really play as aggressively as you can. You may play more, I don't know this, but I'm asking, against a team that doesn't have a lot of natural offensive talent or tic-tac-toe talent. You maybe can play more aggressively and risk taking the penalty. But against a team like this, you really can't. True or not true?
100%. And, they all watch the videos more so than when we played. So they watch the video. They're up on the game. They watch, all the sports channels. They see the highlight goals and so on. And so it's also a mindset. Oh, geez, we're playing Edmonton 1. Oh, we can't take penalties. They're probably going to score on us. Oh, we just took a penalty. Jesus, Murphy, what's going to happen? And so they know that going into that game against Edmonton that they were up against it if they took penalties.
All right. Guys played last night, I think for the 67th time. Alexander Ovechkin and Sidney Crosby, 2 Hall of Fame, obviously mainstays for their Eastern Conference teams. Ovechkin is, within 100 of Gretzky's all-time goal record, but he seems to be losing ground or losing gas fast. As he gets closer, I'm sure he'll get energized more. It happens in sports. Do you think Ovechkin gets there or not, assuming he's healthy?
I don't know if he's going to get there or not. I hope he doesn't get there. I mean, that's how I look at it. And cause I'm not cheering for him to break Wayne's record. I know Wayne has said that it's a record, and records are made to be broken, and he's not losing any sleep over it. But as a hockey fan and someone that chased Gretzky around the ice for many, many years,
I think his legacy's pretty secure.
Yeah, but I just to me you can't compare the two. Sidney Crosby and Ovechkin, you can't compare the two. Crosby has it head and shoulders over Ovechkin in my mind as a better player, and Gretzky's a better player than Ovechkin in my mind. And I don't want to see Ovechkin break his record.
Nothing wrong with that. Honesty is good to hear. You hear again, focusing on the Oilers game last night because that's who they played for the second time. Everybody says, okay, well, Connor Bedard's in this year. And to me, Connor Bedard, obviously a fabulous player. You don't have to be a rocket scientist to see that, but he's not McDavid physically. I don't even think he's McDavid as a player, although McDavid hasn't won anything yet. But McDavid's an interesting point because he plays for a team that no matter what he does, and I mean no matter what he does, he's not going to be the greatest player in the history of his franchise. How would you compare, for people who say, is McDavid better than Gretzky, which is ridiculous, but how would you compare those two players?
Well, I don't think you can. It's two different eras, and the only way that McDavid can wrestle that title away from Wayne is win Stanley Cups, and they got to make the playoffs first. And Edmonton, they seem to fall flat in their face.
Won 6 in a row now. Got a new coach who's doing a good job.
Yeah, but you have to win 4 rounds in 28 games to win a Stanley Cup, and he has not even come close to doing it. I'm not taking anything away from him.
They've never been in the conference finals, I don't think, under him. Maybe once.
I don't think so. I don't know. But the only way that he can get that title is by winning Stanley Cups, and he's got a long way to go.
as long as we're in our comparison portion of the show, if I told you both kids are 18 years old, both are never going to get hurt, in other words, you're going to get a full career out of both of them, use them however you like, Sidney Crosby, Connor McDavid, who do you take?
Well, I don't know. Once again, Crosby's done it. And until I know you said if they're both 18 and they're both starting their careers. I don't know. I didn't watch them in junior to know, how good they were. I know they were good, but I can't compare them because I haven't watched them enough at different levels of their careers. Once again, Crosby's done it at every level. He's won in junior. He's won in the World Championships. He scored the winning goal, won the gold medal for the Canadians in the Olympics. He's won multiple Stanley Cups, multiple MVPs. Once again, Connor has to do something to take the title away from him.
All right, last week we did a show at Glassboro with Steve Coates and Bernie Perrant. They both wanted me to ask you this question. They actually both felt pretty strongly about this. And Coates, when he feels strongly about something. Connor Bedard, the other Connor, obviously a great young player, not a big kid, got a great hockey IQ, obviously. He does the Michigan lacrosse play he pulled off a couple weeks ago where he picked the puck up on a stick and basically put it over the goalie's shoulder. Coach, he is adamant, Brad, that should be illegal in the National Hockey League. How do you feel about that?
Well, I don't know. I've talked about that before, and I want to see a referee call it high stick one time. You can't make the move illegal because it's a move. It's a regular move, but there's some that are bordering on high sticking, and so I want. It's just like I watched the game the other night. Goalie made an unbelievable save, stretching across the whole width of the net, but they ruled that his catching glove, crossed the line after he caught the puck. I'm saying just give him the save, for heaven's sakes. It was unbelievable. But they went to video replay and disallowed the goal. I want to see a referee challenge that, or a coach challenge that when
Sure.
they did the Michigan, that his stick came over his shoulders. And the thing is, the night that I'm getting the Connors mixed up. The one in Chicago, Bedard did that. It was, to me, it was even more impressive. Segrist that did it, and where's he played? Anaheim.
Yeah.
He did it. Go back and look at his Michigan goal. Same night as Connor Bedard. Connor Bedard got all the headlines because it's Connor Bedard.
Yeah.
But most of those Michigan goals, they happen to players standing still. He gets it on a stick and he reaches around and tucks it in. Segrist picked up that puck in full stride. Didn't even break stride. He was skating, and he picked up the puck all in one motion and skated out and put it in the net.
Did he have a choice to do that, or just have a regular breakaway?
It's second nature. He was behind the net. It's second nature to these young kids now, and all the moves. And you go back and you watch some of these talented kids in minor hockey. They're doing it like there's no tomorrow.
The talent in the NHL, talent in all sports these days is unbelievable. A lot due to video, online. People see people do things like the kid who did it at Michigan, which is why it's called the Michigan move 20 years ago, whoever he was. Not a big star.
Yeah, who the heck was he?
I don't remember. Mike somebody.
Did he ever play?
I don't think in the NHL.
No.
It was in college he did it. But we'll talk about some Philadelphia Flyers. This is a Flyer show when we come back. Who is the nucleus of this Flyer team? Who can towards count on going forward? Getting Gauthier, getting Mitchkov, getting Bonk from Canada, getting some others. But who's here already that's the nucleus? And Noah Cates will add to that. We'll examine that with Brad Marsh when On the Ice continues from Bordentown in just a second. Final segment. Stay with us.
Hi, it's Pete from Chicky and Pete's. Come enjoy some delicious additions to our fall menu. Feast on our sweet fire barbecue wings, served with our tasty chive ranch dressing. Our Thai chicken sandwich with pickled red onions and sweet lime dressing, served with a minced slaw. Or Chickies and Pete's hot honey pepperoni pizza with extra pepperoni and delicious hot honey. For game day or any day, come see us all fall at the official sports bar of the Philadelphia Eagles, Chickies and Pete's.
Millions of Americans are losing their medical assistance or Medicaid coverage. If this affects you, Independence Blue Cross can help. You may be eligible to enroll in a health plan for as little as $0 a month. With Independence Blue Cross, you get the largest provider network in the area, including most Keystone First doctors and hospitals. We also offer free 24/7 telemedicine, coverage for hospital stays and prescriptions. See if you qualify for $0 health insurance and enroll today. Call Independence Blue Cross at 1-844-464-2583 or visit ibx.com/staycovered.
Payroll Service Solutions was established in 2001 to cater to the payroll needs of small to medium-sized businesses. Payroll Service Solutions offers unparalleled customer service while they deliver a complete and accurate payroll. When calling Payroll Service Solutions, you will never be put into a voicemail or go through a series of prompts to get to a person. All customer service representatives are extensively trained to handle all of your payroll needs, therefore saving you time. They value each and every one of their clients. No account is too small. Call Payroll Service Solutions today at 1-866-PAY-EASY for a no-obligation review of your payroll needs. That number again is 1-866-PAYEASY. Payroll Service Solutions.
A truly unique dining experience awaits you at Fogo de Chão. Fogo de Chão awes patrons with their history and tradition of authentic Brazilian steakhouse, offering many cuts of decadent fire-roasted meats prepared over an open fire and served tableside by trained gaucho chefs. Fogo de Chão, 1337 Chestnut Street in Center City, Philadelphia. For reservations, go to www.fogo.com or call 215-636-9700.
Head out to Dion Square, located at South Oxford Valley and South Olds Boulevard, to get all your essentials in one place, with the following businesses ready to serve you: Pat Dion Beverages, CVS Pharmacy, Hair Cuttery, Smile Culture Dental, Biomat, Liberty Auto Tags, Pennsylvania Fine Wine and Spirits, Lee's Hoagie House, R&J Smoothies and Juices, AutoZone, and First National Bank and Trust of Newtown. Make Dion Square your one stop for all your shopping needs at South Oxford Valley Road and South Olds Boulevard in Fairless Hills.
If you are looking for a stylish and sophisticated fine dining experience, visit your Eddie V's Prime Seafood restaurant near King of Prussia. Eddie V's Seafood features an abundant selection of fine wines and curated cocktails to complement exquisite steaks and seafood made from the highest quality ingredients. In the V Lounge, sip on imaginative handcrafted cocktails with attitude while enjoying signature appetizers. Conveniently located between I-276 and I-76 near the King of Prussia Mall. Call them today, 610-337-7823 to schedule your night out for Eddie V's Prime Seafood.
Joseph Anthony Retreat Spa and Salon is the true retreat from the everyday, with locations in Glen Mills, Springfield, and Center City. Joseph Anthony is a premier salon and spa destination that offers unique and luxurious services such as the soft pack float and hydrofacial. The Center City location, located on the 5th floor of the beautiful Lowe's Hotel, is now open and features an exclusive summer menu where you can indulge in the Joseph Anthony experience in the exquisite Turkish bath. Joseph Anthony's little black card is the perfect gift for all your loved ones' relaxation needs. Call or go online to josephanthony.com. That's josephanthony.com.
We now return to Chickies and Pete's for On the Ice, presented by Independence Blue Cross. Once again, here are your hosts, Paul Jolovitz and former Flyer Brad Marsh.
Brad and I were just talking with Chris Surmer, our producer, during the break about athletics and athletes and sports. You're not a big basketball fan. You said every sport has its own skill set, requirements, people who can go outside the box and do that. What would you say? Because, listen, if you had a Superstars competition with the greatest athletes in all sports.
They used to have that years ago on
did.
ABC.
Yep. Not many hockey players would win or be threats to.
The race car drivers are always the worst. They're not athletes.
Come anything.
Come on.
But what do you think? I mean, you don't really need to run, jump, or throw in hockey. Obviously, you need to skate on an incredibly narrow blade with people coming at you trying to kill you. What is the number one athletic ability, pure athletic ability, that a player has to have to play in the NHL beyond all else? Speed? Toughness? That's not really athletic.
Well, I don't know. I think when you're talking about athletics, you can talk about agility, speed, all the things that you mentioned, but all the players that play at the professional level, it's the mindset that they have. It's the mindset that they have to put the hours in to be better than the next guy. It's the mindset that they have to overcome an 82-game season and so on and so on. And, we'll have to start drinking if we're going to get into the X's and O's of the various sports and who's the better athlete. And I personally think that hockey is the best team sport, way ahead of the other sports.
But I think one thing that's a constant in sports, no matter what sport you're talking about, it's interesting that you talk about the mindset. Tiger Woods, Wayne Gretzky, Michael Jordan, they not only are the best physical specimens in their sport, but they work the hardest. They take the best ability, do the most with it. That's how you get to be the GOAT, an immortal, whatever you want to call it. Is that a fair statement?
Yeah. There's all kinds of players that are better than average
Lemieux.
with athletic ability. But it's you got to work at it, no matter if you're a plumber like myself or a superstar like Wayne Gretzky. And Wayne wanted to win. He wanted to be the star every night. I'm not saying that in a conceited way. He wanted to score the most goals and so on and so on. Wayne, Steve Yzerman, who I got a lot of time for, he's kind of like a quiet superstar because he kind of played behind Lemieux and Yzerman. Lemieux and Gretzky his whole career. But Stevie Yzerman, he worked so hard, and he took that same work ethic that he had on the ice, built Tampa Bay into a Stanley Cup contender, and they won all of them Stanley Cups. Now he's in Detroit doing the same thing.
As long as we're having fun here, Al Morganti was able to be here tonight, just shooting the wind about hockey. I asked you the question about Crosby and a couple other guys earlier. Same thing, 18 years old, Stevie Yzerman, Mark Messier. Who you got?
Oh, I'll always pick Stevie Yzerman just because he was a teammate. I was in Toronto, and I was traded to Detroit. I was near the end of my career, and he was right in the middle of a very illustrious career. And I could tell you all kinds of leadership stories.
Longest captaincy in the history of the NHL.
Yeah, with Stevie. I mean, once again, I'm not disrespecting Mark Messier because his leadership and what he's done is well documented. But Stevie was a quiet leader. He worked harder than anybody. And what I liked about Stevie, as if you remember when they were winning the cups later on in his career, he accepted the next roll down and did it with style and grace, and he still brought the same work ethic, the same team mentality to the game because they had a young Sergei Fedorov to be, to play those little extra minutes. So all of a sudden, Stevie was the second line power play guy, but he was their top penalty killer, and et cetera, et cetera. Just a great guy, great player.
All right, now we look at the Flyers, Brad, in their infancy of the rebuild, which is moving much faster than Helfrey or Jonesy or Danny Briere or Torts could have anticipated.
15,000 season ticket holders.
It is amazing, yeah, absolutely. Give me 2-3 guys that have kind of stepped out, whether it's, Forster or Tippett or either the Travises or Cam York. Who are the 2 or 3 guys you think are going to be the core of this team for the next few years going forward, assuming they don't trade them or get hurt, obviously? A couple that stand out? Well,
before I get into the players in a couple years that are going to be here, I personally think you can't underestimate the value of having Couturier in the dressing room.
Absolutely.
He's missed 2 seasons. He's in the dressing room healthy. I know Cam hasn't scored as many goals as he would like to. He had that real the dry spell there, but once again he missed the season last year. He's now in the dressing room. Cam's a great guy, great teammate, but then you also bring in the Walker and the Stalls and
Walker out of nowhere.
Yeah. Like I thought he was a throw-in in the deal.
He was.
And so now you have these good veterans mixed with young, hungry, talented rookies, and so the success this year, I personally think you have to put right on the veterans sitting in that dressing room.
Well, and the kid we had 2 weeks ago, Noah Cates, who's obviously Tortorella's kind of player. Last question of the night. I was thinking about this after the show. John doesn't have a captain. Scott wears the A. Scott Lawton, who's my favorite Flyer, frequent guest on this show, great guy. Is Noah Cates, I'm going to say he's a Stevie Yzerman, obviously that got to do stuff before you get to that level, but is he a future captain in this league?
I don't know. It's unfair for me to say yes or no. The way he plays on the ice, I would say yes, but captain, I would love to be a fly on the wall in the dressing room. That's where you tell the captain is in the dressing room, in the practice rink, et cetera, et cetera. And if you look at any championship team, once again, in any sport, and yes, one player will wear the C, and in hockey, the 2 guys wear an A, but to be a championship team, you need 8, 9, 10 players. Yep. And you look at the good teams. That I always talk about the Islanders because they were the juggernaut when I came up, and Brian Trotzy was the captain, but they could have had 10 captains.
Yep.
And
bunch of guys in the Hall of Fame.
That's what we are starting to have now in our dressing room, is all kinds of players that can be a captain or be an A.
Playoffs is not a 4-letter word anymore. Flyers look like they're steaming toward it. Continue with Columbus tomorrow night. We've done a fine job tonight without Al Morganti, who was scheduled to be here. Hopefully he'll be able to be here another night. Brad, thanks for being the co-host and the guest all wrapped up in one. Love your stuff. Alumni Weekend, the 25th, 26th. Good luck with everything in that, and see you next week.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Next week we will have Stanley Cup winning coach of the St. Louis Blues, former Flyer coach and player for many years, Craig Berube at Chickies and Pete's on Roosevelt Boulevard. Chief hasn't been with us for many years. We look forward to that in a big way. Brad and myself, Chris Hermer produced that. We'll produce next week. Keith Noonan turned the dials back at the station. This has been On the Ice, presented by Independence Blue Cross from the beautiful Chickies and Pete's in Bordentown. We've had a great time. Hopefully you have too. Have a great week, everybody. Happy New Year, and go Flyers.
You're listening to 1490 WBCB, Levittown, Fairless Hills, Trenton, and now heard as well on FM at 107.3 FM, W297CF.